cloudy with a low of 26. Stop in and grab your exquisite box of French macarons at Nicolette's Macarons in Plymouth. Nicolette's is conveniently located right off Highway 169 at 36th Avenue. Stop in at the store or order your box online at nicolettesmacarons.com.
Portions of the following program may be pre-recorded.
Broadcasting from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk where facts matter. Welcome to The Gaily Show, the only daily LGBTQ news and talk show on the radio in the United States. I'm your host, John Parker. Jim Pounds joining me from a remote location.
Hey, all.
Jim being our executive producer. We're also live streaming on our YouTube channel right now. And if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe. And if you're not a troll and you leave a comment in our live chat, then more likely than not, we'll read it and or answer your question if you put it in the live chat. All right. There is so much to get to today. In the second half hour of the show, Jake Wittich, managing editor of Windy City Times, is going to join us with his award-winning reporting from Chi-Town. They have a new LGBTQ director who just started his work, so we are going to hear all about that and see what they're going to be working on. Also, Equality Illinois just had their gala and have outlined the fight that they're going to be doing in 2026. So you're going to want to stay tuned to that in the second half hour of our program today. There was so much news today, and it's taking me back to my broadcast TV days where it was just literally one thing after another. We can start with there was a high-speed car crash this morning in St. Paul, Cathedral Hill. If you know where Nina's Cafe is, that is where the crash was. ICE was pursuing an individual, and that individual ended up crashing into at least, I believe, 2 other vehicles. And it was, ran a stop sign, hit a minivan, struck a icy mound of snow, and then went airborne, according to witnesses. It's a pretty, looking at the scenes, the photos from the scene, and also a video, so you can see an individual who was the person that ICE was trying to apprehend on a gurney. I see a video of that. There is a sheet over him, which at first people thought, oh my God, did he die? And the authorities are saying that no, he didn't die. They were just doing that apparently for privacy reasons, but about a crowd of 100 people assembled almost immediately, and they were blowing whistles and documenting and filming what was going on. So this is just to let you know, this is still happening. And when I heard about this, I immediately thought of the shooting in North Minneapolis a few weeks ago, where ICE agents were chasing down an individual. And it turns out the entire story that they gave us was a lie. That there was a scuffle outside the home, and that he fired one time, the agent, and struck the person in the leg, and that he was being beat up by shovels and brooms. The guy fired into the person's home. That's actually what happened there. And it was a case of mistaken identity, by the way. And they couldn't even tell the difference between someone who is 5'8" and someone who's 5'2". All right, the person they were looking for was 5'2". They went after someone who was 5'8". So, that was happening today. Yesterday in St. Louis Park, there were ICE agents around a school and around roads in the surrounding neighborhood, and there were demonstrators and legal observers there who were filming them, and agents were threatening them with pepper spray. So it is still happening, even though yesterday Governor Walz talked with Susie Wiles, the chief of staff for Trump, and both Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey were meeting with Homan on Monday. They both expressed that there was an indication that there will be a drawdown, but we haven't had any official word yet that there is going to actually be a drawdown. So there was that happening today. Also, yesterday afternoon, while we were on the air, the Bloomington police chief. So for folks who aren't in Minnesota, Bloomington is a first-ring suburb, southwest corner of the Twin Cities. And there was a news conference, and Bloomington Police Chief Booker Hodges announced the arrest of 30 people who were soliciting sex workers, so prostitution sting. And one of those people does background checks for the Department of Homeland Security and ICE. And Police Chief Hodges said that, quote, "This is the most disturbing arrest that we've had here." Right, that this is an individual who was soliciting sex in Bloomington while also working for DHS and doing background checks on them. So yeah, that was happening today, Jim. I know that was a story that you were following.
Well, I think there was I feel like I'd found a story from 2024 that was prosecuted in 2025. There was a group of about 12 people involved in sexual, coercion of a minor. And I thought there was that was actually an ICE agent involved in that. But this, I think, is what you're talking about is somebody else, but I'm not certain of that. I think there's more than one similar story, because I didn't read anything about the guy doing recruitment for ICE. So that, I think these are two different.
This is a person doing background checks.
Right. But I mean, the way they were describing it is the person that was arrested in 24 and sentenced in 25 was a former, he had retired from ICE. So he was a former ICE agent.
Well, there's just been so many. Right. There was last year.
There's a lot of predators.
A Republican MAGA legislator, a legislator who was trying to make it Minnesota law to go after people with Trump derangement syndrome, was caught soliciting underage girls.
I think that aggressiveness is their defense. They figure if I put up enough crap, people won't see what I'm doing. Is the only thing I can think of. Or they're psychotic. I don't know which. So just to remind you, I have a ticket giveaway before our guest gets here in the second half hour, so don't forget.
So we will, so we're going to do the ticket giveaway. We're going to do that ticket giveaway at 21 minutes after the hour. So at the start of our second segment.
Thank you.
So get your phones handy, folks, because it sucks out in Minnesota right now. And so it's nice to be able to give something back. Thank you to our partners for giving us tickets to. What is it going to be for?
I Love You, You're Perfect Now Change with Chameleon Theater Circle. Right. It's a perfect Valentine's Day.
This weekend.
Yeah.
This weekend. All right. Perfect. So folks, get your phones ready at 21 minutes after the hour. We will do that ticket giveaway. Also happening in the news today. So we're all pretty aware of Don Lemon, that he was arrested while he was covering the protest at Cites Church.
For doing his job as a reporter.
A domestic terrorist. But then when you see the video, he is very clearly identifying himself as a journalist in the video. He is not obstructing anybody, even though they say that he's obstructing people and scaring people. None of that happened because we literally have video evidence, because he is a journalist and he released the video of the journalism that he was doing. Well, we have found out today that the former acting U.S. attorney for Minnesota, Joe Thompson, this was the individual. He resigned with 6 people, and then another 6 people left the D.C. branch, and then a whole bunch of other people have resigned from the U.S. attorney's office here in Minnesota.
Right.
He was the guy that was in charge. He left. He has started a defense firm, and one of his clients officially is Don Lemon.
I mean,
which I just thought was fantastic. That not only did he say, I am not going to do this BS, because they were pressuring him and the staff here to investigate Renee Nicole Good's wife, her widow, instead of investigating Jonathan Ross, the ICE agent who killed her.
Yeah.
So that was one of the reasons why he resigned. He also said that you're all trying to make us cover these BS things, and we're actually trying to do fraud over here. And you say you want to care about fraud instead of you're pushing us over here into BS investigations. Well, now I think it's fantastic that he said, I am going to represent Don Lemon and fight the DOJ and this BS that they're doing in terms of trying to get rid of press freedom and intimidate journalists here. And I hope that he also takes up the case of Georgia Fort as well.
Yeah. I think it's encouraging, not just that there's one hero. You would expect, good Lord, a hero somewhere along the line here, but to see that many, to see a dozen or 18, however many attorneys have actually left in protest, I would expect that in Minnesota. And so much of what's happened in Minnesota the last few years, I have been disappointed in, but this felt like the old Minnesota, where we have actually got something underneath our rhetoric, and I'm proud of that.
I just want to recognize that one girl that does who put in the chat. What about today's car crash? That was our top story.
Yeah.
So we did cover that at the top of the show. There was an the ICE was high-speed chase going after an individual. Should they be doing that? Probably not. But there was a high-speed chase. The person that they were ran through a stop sign, ended up hitting at least 2 cars, was taken into an ambulance. We know as of the scene that the individual was still alive. We don't know much beyond that.
That used to be a problem in the Twin Cities, where the police finally realized, it's maybe not worth these high-speed chases that put all kinds of innocent people in danger. And so a professional police department doesn't always just chase the supposed bad guy around anymore. They're a little more judicial about that, but not these morons. These morons would run over 10 innocent people to get to somebody else.
Actually is now reporting, this just came out, on a different incident on a highway, Route 10 in north of Anoka, where they have pulled someone over, and without even asking for ID or anything, they've ripped him out of his car and handcuffed him. A Latino gentleman.
You're not safe.
There are videos of that. Obviously, I can't look at the videos right now because I'm here, but there's another incident on a roadway where they are going after people.
Yep. Amateur lawmen, supposedly.
Well, yeah.
Complete amateurs.
There's a lot of new polling that just came out today as well. It was a joint poll from NBC News Decision Desk, KARE 11, which is an NBC affiliate here in the Twin Cities, as well as the Star Tribune. We're going to have to fit in a break here. When we come back, we're going to begin to dive into all of the results that we found from that. I just want to note that one girl that does in the chat saying that they don't allow police to go over 70 miles an hour now. I did not know that, but I wouldn't be surprised, because those never seem to turn out very well. We're also going to have, we're getting some interesting stuff about what happens to the worst of the worst when they leave, when they're deported out of the country. You'll be surprised, because I was, at what actually happens. So you're listening to The Gailey Show on AM 950 Radio, KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
Blue Man Group's North American Tour is coming to the State Theater February 13th through 15th. Dive into the thrilling Blue Man Group experience, a blend of captivating music, interactive art, and audience engagement. Blue Man Group creates a fun, disruptive, and out-of-the-ordinary atmosphere that exhilarates the senses and uplifts spirits for audiences of all ages. Tickets are on sale now at hennepinarts.org.
This is Chad, owner of AM 950. I've been telling you about my friends at Snap Construction, who are arguably the most well-reviewed exterior construction company in the metro. Don't just take my word for it. Take a look at all their reviews online. Winter is the most cost-effective time of the year to complete your construction project. A majority of Minnesotans choose to have their work completed on their home in the summer, when they should be enjoying the weather. As a result, the demand for labor in the summer is much higher. The most cost-effective way to improve or restore your home is in the winter due to the lower demand. Right now, Snap Construction is offering an additional 30% off of labor to the AM 950 listeners on your next construction project between now and the end of February. Call 612-333-SNAP and mention AM 950 for an additional 30% off. As always, Snap Construction stands by their work with a lifetime craftsmanship warranty. Don't wait to get a free estimate by calling 612-333-SNAP or find them online at snapconstruction.com. Financing options available.
Greg Bakken here. I've told you about the out-of-the-world roast beef sandwiches at Maverick's Real Roast Beef, but I haven't told you about their Philly steak sandwiches, turkey bacon avocado sandwich, BLT, crispy chicken, fish sandwiches, brisket, or pulled pork. Okay, you get the idea. They make a lot of delicious food to the same standard as their famous roast beef sandwiches, and now I'm starving. I'm going to go to Maverick's Real Roast Beef off Lexington and Roseville, and you need to go too. Check out their menu at mavericksbeef.com.
This Valentine's Day, give the gift of reading at Next Chapter Booksellers. Whether you're trying to survive Trump administration too, or seeking something cozy, they've got you covered. Their newest nonfiction table offers books to channel anxiety into action. While for something lighter, check out their Japanese and Korean healing fiction, or explore their upsetting shelf of surreal, strange novels. Next Chapter Booksellers can help you find the perfect gift for Valentine's Day, whether to inspire, comfort, or escape. Located off Snelling and Grand in St. Paul, more at nextchapterbooksellers.com.
It's no secret that medical care costs are soaring, with nursing home and skilled nursing care costs being some of the highest. You don't have to deplete your savings in order to receive long-term care. At Schroman Law, we work with families to develop and implement strategic planning for medical assistance for long-term care, for assisted living, nursing home care, or home-based care. Contact us today to schedule a free consultation at schromenlaw.com. That's SCHROMEN law.com.
Welcome back to the Gailey Show. I'm John Parker. We're coming up on the bottom of the hour. Joining me from remotely is my executive producer, Jim Pounds. In just a second here, we're going to be talking about new polling, bad news for MAGA and Trump here in Minnesota. We're also going to be talking about what happens to the worst of the worst when they are deported from the United States. But first, so happy to be able to give away something because we know that life just is terrible and sucks here in Minnesota and the Twin Cities right now. And so we are very happy from one of our partners, Chameleon Theater, to give some tickets away to their show this weekend. Jim, take it away.
I want you to put this phone number. I think you should put it in your phone because we're going to be doing a lot of ticket giveaways. But the phone number here is 952-946-6205. So Chameleon Theater Circle performs out of Inver Grove Community College in Inver Grove Heights. So if you're in the Southern Metro or in the Twin Cities proper, that it's easy to get to. They're doing a small cast musical, contemporary musical called I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change. It's a 5-person cast. They have, I'd seen the show off Broadway a number of years ago. They have updated the script, to make sure that it's not getting worn out. But if you don't have a Valentine's Day gift that you think is unique enough,
a last minute one, you can call 952-946.
We've solved your problem.
05. It's a pair of tickets, right?
Yeah, pair of tickets. Now, when you call Patrick, he'll get your email and we'll send you the code. When you'll make reservations via email with the general manager of the theater company, and you'll give them this code, and then you can have 2 free tickets either for Friday night at 7:00 or Saturday night at 7:00.
So first caller, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. A pair of free tickets to I Love You.
You're perfect.
Perfect now change.
I've said that to you before.
I know. Good luck, first caller. All right, so I've been wanting to know, okay, what happens to the worst of the worst, right? We all want to get rid of the worst here. That's what the Trump administration says, and everybody can agree, yes, we need to deport the worst of the worst. But what actually happens to them? Well, so the Minnesota Department of Corrections has told local media now, the spokesperson, of what actually happens, and it's not what you think it is, or at least it's not what I thought it is. So let's say that we've got someone who has been convicted of a violent crime here, right? Armed robbery or, violent crime. And let's say they have X number of years left on their sentence, right? They have 5 years left. They have 7 years left, right? Etc. When ICE takes them and deports them to their native country is under no obligation to imprison that person for the rest of the term they were sentenced to here in Minnesota. So ICE could take a person because they want all of these agreements, right? We need all these agreements with local county sheriffs and prisons and county jails. Well, okay, they're taking them And then they're just taking them to these countries, their native countries, and they're saying, here, go ahead. So they're going free. The worst of the worst.
Well,
Or so here's the other thing that could be happening is that they will take people at the end of their sentences, right? So they are taking people and they're saying, hey, okay, they finished their term and now they're going to be released, but we're going to take them because they're undocumented, which is just a misdemeanor, and we're going to deport them out of the country. So we all knew about Cites in El Salvador, right? The dictator there, his concentration camp, and we had hundreds of people that were wrongly sent down there. Many people with no criminal offenses whatsoever. Many of whom had legal documentation or were in the process of gaining asylum, like legal, all legal, sent to this concentration camp, right? Eventually, they were liberated from there after like 3 months from all of the protests that we were doing. Well, there's another one in Africa. All right, this is a setup with the country of Eswatini, dictator there, where they are sending so far over a dozen people into a prison that can keep them for the rest of their lives. And the conditions are horrible there. Allegations of torture. So now the question is, if you take somebody who has completed their sentence, the worst of the worst, they've completed their sentence of what we sentence them to here, should they now be sent to a dictatorship in Africa? No access to legal, no access to their family. Sometimes people don't even know they're there for the rest of their lives.
Well, and they will probably die prematurely. I mean, that was the thing about El Salvador. It was understood that somebody didn't live very long there. I'm surprised when you said that they were all out in 3 months. I'm not sure that that's accurate because I think a lot of people wouldn't have lasted.
They were transferred out. But that's what I'm saying here is that there's two outcomes that could be happening here. Right. One is they're still serving a sentence and they're just being sent to their native country where they can just be free.
Right.
That's not awesome. Or they're at the end of their sentence or they're coming up on the end of their sentence and then we're just adding on another one for a misdemeanor, which is all it is to be undocumented here, a misdemeanor, and we're going to sentence them to life in prison by sending them to dictatorships.
All the more reason for local police to not cooperate with ICE because it's anti-justice, if you know what I'm saying.
So we're going to keep looking into that particular story because this does not seem like justice.
No.
Right? Where you take somebody and you think, oh, we're giving them the ultimate thing. We're deporting them from the country. Okay, if they sexually assaulted somebody and we deport them and they get to go free, is that justice? Anyway. Not anyway. We're going to continue to look into that story and find out more information about what is exactly happening when the worst of the worst are deported here. But we want to get into some new polling that just came out. This is polling from NBC News Decision Desk, CARE 11, the local NBC affiliate, and Minnesota Star Tribune, powered by SurveyMonkey, 1,200 people from January 27th to February 6th. These are adults over the age of 18 here in Minnesota. How do people in this poll? So 59% of Minnesotans, based off of this poll, disapprove of how Trump is handling border security and immigration. That is his signature issue. And 59% now of Minnesotans disagree with the way that he is handling it.
I'm surprised it's that low.
Also, 67% of Minnesotans believe there should be a pathway to citizenship for undocumented people. Because we're now seeing the reality of what is going on here is that people who are undocumented pay taxes, they have no criminal record, they are in some part of the immigration system, and they are upstanding members of society, if you want to put it that way. And so it's really interesting to me now that 67% want a pathway to legal status here in the United States. I want to read a couple of other things here before we have to hit a break. 58% of Minnesotans blame specifically the Trump administration for the clashes, as the poll defined it, between legal observers and demonstrators and ICE agents. I even don't like the way that that's framed because it's ICE agents who are attacking and laying siege to the city. Well, 58% of Minnesotans blame the Trump administration specifically for that. So we got to take a break here. When we come, I'm going to give a couple more of these when we come back, and then we're going to have Jake Wittich, managing editor of Windy City Times. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Daily Show.
This is Santita Jackson, Minneapolis, St. Paul. I couldn't be more excited about starting our days together, Monday through Friday, 6 to 8 a.m. Central, on the Progressive Voice of Minnesota.
Uncover the rich history of Minnesota through Whoosh, a lively and deeply moving ghost tale. Solo artist Andrew Erskine Wheeler masterfully brings to life a range of characters, intertwining the rich history of St. Anthony Falls in the post-Civil War era with the story of his Irish heritage. This award-winning show weaves a hauntingly local and unforgettable ghost story through compelling song and storytelling. The History Theater's Whoosh plays January 29th through February 22nd. Find tickets at historytheater.com.
Hey, Francois, what are you making?
Bonjour, Laura. Je fais une carte de Minnesota en macarons de Nicolette's.
You're making a map of Minnesota out of macarons from Nicolette's? Why?
C'est pour la Saint-Valentin.
Oh, for Valentine's Day. And who's it for?
Tout le Minnesota.
All of Minnesota? That's so sweet, Francois.
Je t'aime, Minnesota, et je t'aime, Nicolette's.
I love Nicolette's macarons, too. Share the love at nicolettesmacarons.com, and happy Valentine's Day, Minnesota.
Hey, it's Patrick for Zero Res. February is the month for love, so when was the last time you gave your carpet the love and attention it deserves? Maybe you've been procrastinating on the holiday post-mortem cleanup at your house. Are you worried if you got down on your hands and knees what you might see or smell? Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, but it's also the largest air filter in your home. And what's worse, you're going to be stuck inside breathing this nasty stuff for months. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home. This month, get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $119 and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Call my friends at Zero Res right now, 952-ZERO-RES, or go online to ZeroResMinnesota.com and say you want the AM 950 special. A 4.9 rating on Google reviews and over 21,000 satisfied customers can't be wrong. Backward or forward spells the same. Zero Res.
Celebrate Valentine's with the perfect musical. The Chameleon Theater Circle is proud to present I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change. Bright, sexy, witty, and fun, this show will appeal.
We only got a couple of seconds here.
Real quick, Jake, can you hear me? I still have a couple of things that I need to get to, and then we'll bring you in. Great, thank you.
See times and reserve tickets. I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change with the Chameleon Theater Circle. Get your tickets now.
With a look at your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Today, sunshine with a high of 37, then tonight, cloudy with a low of 26. Stop in and grab your exquisite box of French macarons at Nicolette's Macarons in Plymouth. Nicolette's is conveniently located right off Highway 169 at 36th Avenue. Stop in at the store or order your box online at nicolettesmacarons.com.
AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Coming to you from the studios of AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and airing on WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk where facts matter. Welcome back to the Daily Show. It is 33 minutes after the hour. I'm John Parker. Joined from the remote location is my executive producer, Jim Pounds. And if you are streaming and watching us live on YouTube right now, please click that subscribe button. And you can also, if you're not a troll, you can leave a comment in the live chat, and I will check it out, and we'll respond to it. Answer.
What if they are a troll?
I will delete you and block you.
Okay.
I almost just said something that I'm not allowed to say on the air. Oh my God.
I should not have said that.
A couple of things. One, I saw the phone lines going off. Were we able to give away those tickets?
We were not, so we still have
bummer.
a pair available.
All right, there is a pair of tickets available to I Love You, You're Perfect, Now Change. I want to give those away to somebody. The tickets are for this weekend. The performance is going to be at Inver Grove College, Community College, 952-946-6205, 952-946-6205. to get your free pair of tickets. And I'm so glad that we are able to do this for folks, because I know we need to build community right now, and I'm just grateful for our partners for doing that. A couple of other things I wanted to pull out from that new polling from NBC News Decision Desk. This KARE 11, our local NBC affiliate, and the Star Tribune. In that poll, Minnesotans, 62% of Minnesotans say the federal government has gone too far and disregarding the authority of state and local government. That was a pretty almost 2/3 of Minnesotans saying that. And then another one, a huge one, across the board, huge majorities, 88% of Minnesotans say that federal officers and agents should not be granted immunity from prosecution. And when I mean across the board, that was 72% of Republicans, 94% of independents, 99% of Democrats. And so Trump administration and MAGA, you are officially on warning. I also want to mention, yes.
That's the sanest response you'll get from the Republicans on a question. Very good.
I know, right? I also want to mention that there are actions happening across Target all throughout the day today. If you go to iceoutnowminnesota.com, you can join a demonstration against Target, but there are going to be a number of them also at Richfield this evening. They are trying to get Target to begin to support, as the 4th largest employer, getting ICE out of Minnesota, and also supporting local businesses, because the economic impact right now is just, it is bad. It is bad of what ICE has done to our economy. So you can go to iceoutnowmn.com to join those demonstrations. All right, Windy City Times has been the voice of Chicago's LGBTQ+ community since 1985. This year marks the news outlet's 40th anniversary of uplifting queer stories, reporting with pride, and chronicling LGBTQ+ history. You can visit windycitytimes.com/newsletters to sign up for the publication's weekly LGBTQ+ news updates. Jake Wittich is managing editor of Windy City Times, where he reports in-depth stories on Chicago's LGBTQ+ community and oversees the publication's growing newsletter operation that I just mentioned there. And he is the Chicago Journalists Association Journalist of the Year for 2025. He joins us bi-weekly on Wednesdays. Jake, it's great to see you again.
It is good to be back.
And you have the best T-shirt collection of anyone I know.
Thank you. Speaking of our newsletters, this is one of them, Chicago Social Butterflies. It's a weekly roundup of queer events. So
you have swag for your newsletters?
It's exclusive to like me and 99 other people, but we're working on launching a merch store.
We should think about doing that.
Yeah.
All right. So the story you've been covering since we started having you here on the show is the new director of LGBTQ affairs. This was a new position under Mayor Johnson, and then there was like weirdness around it, and like when was it posted and who was informed, and then it was like took forever to fill the position. Well, now there is a new director of LGBTQ+ affairs. Was at his first, actually I don't know their pronouns.
Yes.
You can update me on that.
He, him, and his first, yeah.
Was at his first the council meeting last night. So tell us, who is the new director and how did that meeting go last night? Because I know you were there reporting.
Of course. So a few weeks ago now, Mayor Brandon Johnson, he appointed Antonio King as Chicago's very first director of LGBTQ+ affairs. We have had liaisons between the LGBTQ community and the mayor's office in the past. They've taken on different names. But what's really significant about this appointment is it's the very first time that this liaison has been elevated to an executive level role within the mayor's office.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a big win for our community, but it was hard fought for. As you alluded to, this position has been a long time in the making. The LGBTQ+, it was first promised by Mayor Brandon Johnson in 2024 after the city had kind of flubbed. They cut the Pride Parade in half, which was a whole controversy. There was not a lot of community engagement done there. I'll be the first to admit the Pride Parade was long. It would last like 4.5 hours. Maybe there were some corporations and maybe some politicians in there who didn't need to be. So it did need some cuts, but the problem was they did this without engaging the community. So the mayor's office came and said, listen, I know we could have engaged the community better, and I promise you I'm going to fill this role so that we have someone to do this. This was about April or May of 2024. We are now in February of 2026, and we're just now getting this role filled. So it's been a long battle. The LGBTQ plus advisory council has been advocating for it for years, but it's here and it is significant. It is the first time it's an executive level role, and Antonio King, there's a lot of enthusiasm for him to do this. He is a longtime city employee. He has been an LGBTQ plus health and outreach liaison for the Chicago Department of Public Health for, I might get this wrong, but at least a decade. He has got deep ties within Chicago's LGBTQ plus community. He's held roles at Task Force Prevention and Community Services, the Chicago Black Gay Men's Caucus, Howard Brown Health. And that really shone last night at the LGBTQ plus advisory council's quarterly meeting, which was the very first one that Antonio King got to sit in on as this new director.
And what were they? I mean, there's so much to tackle there in a quarterly meeting. So what were they getting into last night? There was also actually a surprise guest.
Yeah, I was going to say, there was a lot of news happening last night. I went into the meeting thinking the news would be Antonio King. It's his first meeting there. The real news is that Jin-Soo Ha, who has been chair of the LGBTQ plus advisory council since November 2023, he is stepping down from the role. He has done a lot of work. I think he really wanted to see, he's engaged in a lot of different areas too. He has a full-time job advocating for equity in education. He is a video DJ at Sidetrack, the famous bar we have here in Chicago. He is he's the national chair or something like that for the Victory Fund now. He does work with them. Wow. So he has got his hand in a lot of different pots. So I think he just is ready to pass the baton to new leadership with the advisory council. He saw through getting this director hired, and now he's ready to pass the torch. So that was the big news. And then our surprise guest was Mayor Brandon Johnson, who came in to thank Jin-Soo Ha for his years of service and take a little photo with the whole advisory council.
So did they select a new chair then?
No, not yet. So Jin-Soo is going to stick around to help with the transition. Every time I say that, since I'm a queer outlet, it takes on a different meaning. But yeah, he's going to stick around to help with the transition. The mayor's office gets to choose the new chair, so they'll have recommendations. And so we'll see who is chosen. They hope to have, or Jin-Soo has told them, I'm strongly encouraging you to have a new chair in place by our next meeting. So they're hoping by April they'll have someone appointed to this role, so that chair can effectively run the meeting. So
hopefully this won't take a year to get filled. So what were the topic areas? Was this the first meeting since ICE was in your city?
No, we had one back in December. Okay. Yeah. I'll talk a little bit about Antonio's role, because overseeing the advisory council is just a very small fraction of what Antonio King is tasked with. He is going to be designing or developing a citywide LGBTQ plus policy plan aimed at increasing opportunities for LGBTQ plus people across the city, supporting our businesses and supporting the most marginalized within the LGBTQ plus community. So for Antonio King, he's talked about uplifting transgender people, uplifting queer people of color, making sure that our aging LGBTQ adults are taken care of, because for a lot of people, this is the first generation we have of out LGBTQ plus seniors, and especially people who are aging with HIV. This is the first generation that's really been able to live that long with HIV, and they have unique needs that need to be taken care of as well. So Antonio King, coming from the Department of Public Health, really has his finger on the pulse there. So those are some of his priority areas. But like I said, supporting businesses, also just raising awareness for all of the organizations we have, which he's plugged into. And it's shown last night. At the meeting, they brought in Dr. Travis Gales. He's the CEO of Howard Brown Health, and he was the community connection. They always bring in a grassroots group to talk about their work. And Antonio is talking to him about historical things that have happened within the community. And Howard Brown Health has kind of breached trust at times with communities on the south and west sides. And they were talking about how optimistic they are that this bridge can be mended, and then the LGBTQ plus liaisons for the Chicago Police Department were there. And Antonio King referenced how they were really supportive when there was a tragedy, a shooting that happened a few years ago at a gay bar on the south side. So, the police were saying, we want to connect with youth. And Antonio's like, well, you want to talk to Task Force, you want to talk to the Broadway Youth Center. He's very well connected. So I'm optimistic.
It's probably too soon. But if he's coming from a public health background, if I'm remembering correctly from your reporting, and please fact check me, there is no major hospital system that's providing gender affirming care for youth in Chicago. So it's probably too soon for him to have kind of staked out a plan on this. We've just had our first here just a week ago in Minnesota. Children's Minnesota paused gender affirming care, part of their gender affirming care around puberty blockers. Has Antonio King had anything to say about that yet? How to navigate providing healthcare when you have an administration that is actively trying to get rid of HIV research and ending LGBTQ healthcare specifically for trans kids?
Not really. I do hope to do a more thorough, in-depth interview with Antonio King. I want to give him maybe a couple months to really meet with stakeholders throughout Chicago and stuff like that, and we'll really get into the nitty-gritty. This topic did come up last night, though, with the discussion with Dr. Gales from Howard Brown Health. And he was just saying, like, gender affirming care is primary care. So we're going to keep providing people with primary care as long as we can do so.
Interesting. I like that a lot.
Yeah. And it's true. A lot of gender affirming care, it's not just the hormones or the procedures. It is the behavioral health care too. And that's a part of my, I have a therapist. I take antidepressants, whatever, but like that's everyone can relate to that. And it doesn't have to be a gender affirming care specific thing,
Right. Yes. And there's so much about healthcare, queer healthcare and trans healthcare, particularly for kids, that people just do not know. They have no idea how many people are actually involved with that and all the steps that go into it, and how it is just so careful and scientifically vetted. We're coming up on a break here. We are talking with Jake Wittich, managing editor of Windy City Times. We still got 2 more stories to get to with Jake. So we're going to take a very quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the Equality Illinois 2026 Gala, as well as the new Windy City Times community journalism cohort, which gets started this weekend. So very quick break, and we're going to have more with Jake when we come back. You're listening to The Gailey Show on AM 950 Radio, KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota, and WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk.
Blue Man Group's North American Tour is coming to the State Theater February 13th through 15th. Dive into the thrilling Blue Man Group experience, a blend of captivating music, interactive art, and audience engagement. Blue Man Group creates a fun, disruptive, and out-of-the-ordinary atmosphere that exhilarates the senses and uplifts spirits for audiences of all ages. Tickets are on sale now at hennepinarts.org.
Are you planning a gathering for your family, friends, or work? Then reserve space at the Park Tavern. The Park Tavern offers private and semi-private spaces, and they can accommodate any size party, large or small. They have bowling, food, and beverage packages for any budget. And remember, there are no room fees and no minimum spending requirements. And for more information or to schedule an event, call 952-929-6810 or go to parktavern.net. Make your next get-together the best get-together with help from the Park Tavern.
At cause-cart.com, every purchase supports makers, artists, and social impact brands, creating a ripple of good with every gift you give. From handcrafted jewelry and self-care essentials to one-of-a-kind art, find something beautiful that gives back. Shop with heart this Valentine's Day at cause-heart.com, where every gift tells a story of love and impact. And right now, Cause Cart is offering free local delivery in Hennepin, Ramsey, and Washington County until February 13th. Just choose Pickup Option at checkout to take advantage of this complimentary delivery option. When you shop with Cause Cart, you're supporting artists, nonprofits, socially conscious businesses, and yourself. Every item reflects a commitment to positive change. Cause Cart uses biodegradable and recyclable packaging and invests in carbon credits. Shop with heart this Valentine's Day at cause-cart.com, where every gift tells a story of love and impact.
Hey, this is Andy Otto, Executive Director of Twin Cities Pride and your host of Twin Cities Pride Amplified. Our community needs your help. Twin Cities Pride is collecting donations to help our local community in need. We're collecting everything from shelf-stable food to household cleaning supplies, infant care items, and personal care products at our Pride Cultural Arts Center. If you're looking to help, reach out to us at info@tcpride.org or just stop by 1201 Harmon Place in Minneapolis. It's our time to take care of our community and take care of each other all year long.
Hi, this is Frank Brown with Minuteman Press Uptown. It's election season. If you're campaigning for a candidate, your outreach needs top quality union printed materials, from direct mail and yard signs to door hangers, buttons, t-shirts, and flyers. Minuteman Uptown is your union shop to get people to the polls. We print everything. We'll keep your candidate top of mind, target your message with a laser focus, and maximize your voter turnout efforts. Get started today at mpuptown.com. That's mpuptown.com.
Welcome back to the Daily Show. We are coming up on the top of the hour. I'm John Parker, joined by my executive producer, Jim Pounds, who is in a remote location. Bi-weekly on Wednesdays, Jake Wittich, managing editor of Windy City Times, joins us to share his award-winning reporting from Chicago. So, also, big event that just happened, Equality Illinois' gala just happened a few weeks ago. You were there, yes?
I was. My editor, Matt, he did the story, but I got to go and network, which was very nice.
Black tie?
Yeah, it was. I don't have like a tux or anything, but I wore the same suit I wore when I accepted my Journalist of the Year award.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Very
I feel
nice.
great in it. Yeah.
Yep. Look confident.
So tell us about that, because that is the first gala since the ICE invasion of Chicago. It is the last gala before the November 2026 elections. So that's a pretty pivotal gala to be having right now.
Exactly. Another first. It was the first gala with Shannon Lynn Parker as CEO of Equality Illinois. She came to the organization from Brave Space Alliance, and she is the first Black trans woman to lead Equality Illinois in its history. So very significant. She gave an amazing speech. We actually we have a transcript of it and embedded a video of it into an article on windycitytimes.com. I encourage anyone to see it. Even if you don't live in Illinois, it's pretty inspiring. And like you said, it was the first gala since ICE has started occupying cities in America. And it's shown. I wasn't sure. I knew it was going to be acknowledged. I wasn't sure to what extent, but during Shannon's speech, she called for the abolition of ICE. Moni and her wife, Denise is involved with Indivisible Chicago, and Moni is involved with a group called Q Force that's mobilizing queer folks around issues and elections in the Chicago area. They were passing out stickers that said abolish ICE. I even wore one. Kind of cool to work at a news outlet where I can.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But that was definitely a big presence. The issue of ICE in America was a big presence, top of mind for people there. But it was awesome. Everyone was there. I like I said, I went to network. I made a lot of connections with so many lawmakers and candidates from, the Cook County commissioner races all the way up to people running for Congress. So I think it was a lot of valuable connections that will benefit Windy City Times coverage going forward. And I'm hoping we can bring these important voices into conversation with our readers more. The Governor J.B. Pritzker went. He gave a speech, got roarous applause. So did Mayor Brandon Johnson. and they do this parade of dignitaries where like all the elected officials, not just the LGBTQ ones, the allies who were there too. Lots of allies were there. They name them and they all walk up on stage and wave. That was really interesting to me because you can tell who's popular and who's not based on who gets the applause and who does not. I won't share who, but I definitely made some mental notes like, interesting. So it was a good gala. I sat next to a woman. Oh, I'm forgetting her name, but she is the first out trans woman running for state legislature in Illinois. Yes. I'll have her name, Zoe Carter. She is in, I think, the Bloomington, Illinois area. It's a rural area. We had a great conversation about how there is a lot of queer people in rural Illinois and rural America, and a lot of them don't want to leave. That's their home. It's where they're comfortable. And she was telling me she's an out trans woman, and yes, she's had challenges there. People have been hostile towards her at times, but overall, she's really welcomed by her community. So I enjoyed talking to Zoe about that, and stay tuned. I'm probably going to be doing a profile of her soon. So yeah.
Fantastic. And then this weekend you have, or not this weekend, but this week you're starting your new cohort. Tell us about that.
Yes, it's called Our Stories, Our Power. And we have a group of 6 early career journalists. 2 of them are early career journalists. 4 are people who are just curious about getting involved in journalism with no journalism experience. And we're embarking on a 6-week journey together where me and Anna Deshawn from E3 Radio are going to teach them the ins and outs of the community journalism process. So we're going to be talking about how to build trust with communities, non-extractive interview techniques, how not to be a parachute journalist, things like that. And by the end of the program, they'll have a published piece that we're going to put on windycitytimes.com. This is our 2nd year doing it. And it really inspired me last year to teach more. Stay tuned. I might be teaching more this year than beyond this cohort. So it really unlocked a part in me. Like I learned just as much from them as they learned from me. So I'm excited to do this again.
Let me know if you can teach John anything.
I'm sure there's a lot. But you would be a great not newspaper advisor at a college. That's so much fun to do that, and you'd be really special on that role. Just saying, putting that out there.
Yeah, stay tuned.
Adjunct roles. Okay, that's great. What I was going to say with that, if they want to share their reporting on the radio, please feel free. We'd love to hear what they're doing because we've got all of our listeners in Chicago, all of our listeners, great listeners on WCPT. So we would definitely welcome sharing their work if they want to do that here on the Gailey Show.
That would be awesome. So,
all right, folks. Head to windycitytimes.com for all of these stories and all of their award-winning journalism. And while you're there, in the upper right-hand corner of the screen is a box that says sign up for newsletters, and you can join me in reading their excellent newsletters every week. Jake, have a great start to the cohort, and we'll see you back here in a couple weeks.
Awesome. Talk to you soon.
All right, talk soon. All right, everybody. Next on WCPT 820, it is Democracy Now! In Minneapolis on AM 950 radio. It is the Matt McNeil Show. Stay tuned after that for Native Roots Radio, which is the only Native American and Indigenous radio program in the United States. We're very lucky to have that here. And then at 10 p.m. Central, step into the unknown with Greg Bakken on Ghost Box Radio. You can stream our show everywhere you get your podcast, but definitely check us out at youtube.com/@thegailey show, where you can catch up on everything. We have all these great playlists curated for you, like all of our Chicago news coverage and one fun location that you can just click play and watch them all to your heart's content. And until this time tomorrow, keep it queer, America.
Keep it queer.
Keep it queer.